Hello and welcome to another Axiz Cisco conversation. My name is Nozipho Shabalala. What an absolute privilege it is to be with you again today. We find ourselves in Centurion at the Matlala Group, and we're sitting down with the managing director. His name is Matlala, and we're keen to understand why he believes that your network might be the biggest reason why digital transformation isn't working yet. Avi, thank you so much for making the time to join us.
Lovely meeting you, and thank you for hosting us.
Matlala Group, what are you guys about? What are you taking to the market? What solutions are you offering to your clients?
So, Matlala Group was formed 2014. However, around 2020 we started running, and predominantly because of the pandemic. And we focus in three areas: infrastructure, which includes your networking; cloud, which moves to the next journey of digital transformation; and then analytics and big data.
Yeah, those are three really important pillars that I'm hoping that we can maybe double click on in this conversation today.
Absolutely.
But one of the things that you've mentioned right now is digital transformation. I mean, it has been the absolute buzzword for at least the last 2 years with the pandemic. Are companies responding to digital transformation as an invitation to really step up their businesses and their offerings in the market?
I think yes. So a number of companies have had strategies around digitization. However, it was always wallet share fights over, let's call it before 2020. However, come pandemic, in the pandemic they were forced. So the first phase we saw in 2019 was just getting everyone into a laptop because
Right.
of people had to work from home, and then connectivity became the secondary problem. Now, obviously, once business gets to that level, they now have to look at their apps, which were meant for internal use only. How do I then expose it?
Yeah.
And that's where digital transformation started to take shape and accelerated versus the prior years. So
Yeah.
some of the solutions existed,
Yeah.
but we were not driving them. And
Yeah.
only now do we get to a place where we've been asked to fast track everything we've built.
Yeah, so it does sound like a little bit of a reluctance to invest in digital transformation, but if I'm hearing you correctly, it's there is no other option. Now you're beginning to see a lot of your clients seeking out those solutions. But I would imagine if I was in the shoes of one of your clients, that I still want to see my return on investment. How does cloud networking fit into that? How does cloud help us make sure that the money we're putting behind digital transformation actually translates into tangible outcomes?
Okay. So there's multiple ways of looking at that particular problem. So a lot of our clients have always had hypervisors, which is your virtualization in the server room. However, they never virtualize their networks.
Right.
So while they are enjoying consolidation on their physical servers, that wasn't translated into their business, and data costs in South Africa are quite high.
Yeah.
And as such, it's always been one of those bigger problems for them. So by bringing the conversions in networking, it then reduces the cost of data because you're now moving your network into a cloud scenario, whereas currently you have to have multiple areas where people connect to.
Yeah.
So there's a return on investment just from moving your network into the cloud.
That sounds like a good business case for me to invest in cloud in a really good cloud networking solution. But I would imagine that one of the big questions is where does one start? What do you prioritize? And I know that as the Matlala Group, you've got a view on what are the 5 priorities that one would need to look at as they make that transition. What does that conversation sound like with your clients?
So a lot of the times, and we have adopted a design thinking sort of methodology
Yeah.
from a business point of view, where we're saying, let's not eat an elephant at once.
Yeah.
How do we chew off certain pieces and then actually measure a project and say, based on just virtualizing your network, what do we believe your returns will be? Let's realize those returns. Let's actually see you saving money on your data costs. And then based on that, we move to the next layer, which is security. Security has become critical in this space because a lot of companies, because you're consolidating, there's a single place of attack that you get to.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you look at a miraculous Cisco solution,
Yes.
it is bolted with security in mind. So day one, you gain the secure environment, you get a consolidated environment, and also you actually reduce the number of people that look after your network because it's all based in a cloud. So if you have dispersed teams, they actually go to the same place to find the information
Right.
versus multiple areas to look. So it also brings down finding faults, because one of the problems for clients is not when you're up, it's when you are down.
Yes.
How quick can you
get
come
back up? Yeah. Yeah.
So if I've centralized your entire environment, you look in the same place, and you can even look at skilling up those who do not have the correct skills.
Right.
And also while leveraging your expertise. But further is that you can start removing your skilled staff into revenue generating projects versus keeping them in the data center. And that's where IT is migrating towards a critical business enabler
Yeah.
versus a
support
cost-
function, right?
Yeah, and
Cost center
yeah,
to the
yeah,
business.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and I think it's so interesting listening to you talking about that phase journey and how you and how you walk your clients through that journey. What is the experience I can expect if I now reach out to the Matlala group? What is the kind of experience I can expect from your team? Are they on site? What kind of posture are they showing up with? Are they showing up as partners? What do you promise in the engagement with your team?
So one of our ethos is simplifying IT. That's the first part, is that we don't go into a customer's environment and say, we're going to solve all your problems.
Yeah.
We look at your business drivers and we say, what is your business seeking to do? And we will capture one or two of the critical aspects, translate them into an IT solution. And usually, I mean, if you look at some of our clients in the financial services, their biggest drive is, how do I get an omni-channel? How do I
Right.
get my client from a website, from a cell phone, and also the walk-in client? How do I get all those interactions into a single way of looking at this client?
Yeah.
And those are the journeys we look at. Obviously, they all underpinned by technology behind them.
Yes.
But our focus is, are we delivering against what your core business is versus the technology aspects? We handle the tech, but we enable you to keep your conversation about your business.
Sure, that's powerful, because what I'm hearing you saying is that it's not just about the theory of putting the business strategy and the business objectives at the center. It's actually how you work.
Yeah.
It always comes back to what do we want to achieve as a business, and then how does the technology become an enabler
To that.
to do exactly that, rather than solving for the technology. You've used an interesting example. You've gone to the financial services, and I know that that's a very difficult sector because of the security concerns they oftentimes would carry with them. What are the risks that you need to engage with as you move ahead with your cloud networking solutions? But I think in addition to that, how do you turn those risks into opportunities for clients who are very high or risk averse and risk sensitive?
So one of the biggest problems, especially around the security space, is the organizations themselves have built great infrastructure to protect themselves.
Yeah.
However, your weakest point of entry into any organization is the end user, myself, and mobile devices, my laptop. That's where most of your threats lie.
Yeah.
So with a Meraki solution, with all the Cisco bolt-on tools,
Yes.
we are able to protect the end user device. So while they have a security posture in the financial service that protects them, we focus more on the end user and the internal stuff that is currently working from home.
Yeah.
How do we make sure that that device has got the latest firmwares, updates, compliant, and also is free of malware, ransomware, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where our focus is in the main. And it takes, obviously, financial services, they are quite risk averse.
Yeah.
And it takes a longer conversation versus a quick solution to it.
Yeah. Are we getting to a place where the experience for the end user is also better. I mean, I'm not in the financial services, but I have my fair share of multiple authentications and all of those things that you need to do to make sure that you are not part of the problem. What's the thinking around that in terms of putting the end user or pulling them into focus as well?
So the one thing I've seen, and especially with our major banks in South Africa, in all their apps, they are driving the security posture, the phishing messaging. So as you go into your app, you actually now get conscious about, you know, what are you downloading, what are you seeing, are you getting the right OTP
Yes.
authentications, and those are bolted on from the financial services sector. So I would say it becomes a little cumbersome,
Yeah.
but it's really for your own protection as well, because I mean, obviously cyber crimes have gone
Yeah.
way high. So
Yeah.
how do we even lower the literacy around security
Yeah.
to the basic user who just needs to move money around and doesn't want to worry about security? So
Yeah, that's incredible because it speaks to the behavioral change. And it's a behavioral change that will outlast the pandemic, and one that it's almost like getting used to wearing a mask and keeping a distance. Anyway, these are practices that we need to keep in mind. So for anybody who's still on the fence, an entrepreneur who's still on the fence and is thinking, oh, should I really do the migration towards cloud network solutions? Is this the way that I accelerate my digital transformation journey? And they're just not sure. What's the final message that you would have for them?
So we look at that journey as a journey. However, cloud and all the cloud components have enabled all of us and businesses to gradually go into it, even from a financial point. If we were looking at businesses 6 years ago, you would buy the entire infrastructure, lay it down, and actually start seeing return on investment by 18 months and 24 months and further down the line. Currently, you actually just enable what you need today.
Yeah.
And as it grows, you then can enable even more. So it enables you to consume as you grow, which is, for businesses, I think everyone wants to spend their money
Yeah.
on the things that mean a lot to their business and
Yeah.
not just on technology.
Yeah.
So that's the differentiator for us.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's a beautiful phrase. It's all about consuming as you grow and making sure that businesses, as they progress on their journey, are getting the right solutions at the right time, at the right price, and of course with the right support. It's a big thank you to AB Matlala, the Managing Director of the Matlala Group, talking us through why the move towards cloud networking is the way that you're going to make digital transformation work for you and how you're going to realize those returns on investment. It's been an absolute pleasure seeing you all again. Thank you so much for sticking around with us, and we look forward to the next conversation. I'm Nozipho Shabalala.